Good evening. This is the Monday, February 3rd, 2025 meeting of the Public Safety Committee and Committee of the Whole. I am Rob Watton, Chair of the Public Safety Committee, and as far as roll call, we have council members Kara Christensen and Dr. Cotton present, as well as City Administrator Chambliss, Clark Dean, and Chiefs Lynch and Bailey present, as well as other guests in the audience. With that, we will move to the approval of the agenda. Is there any objection to the agenda as presented, council? There is none. Okay, so we will accept the agenda as presented. This time we open for public comments, and we are being recorded for YouTube as well as live by Zoom. Those that come in person have the opportunity to speak on any matters of affecting public safety here in the council member meeting room, or on any items that are on the agenda. But seeing none present here tonight, I will close public comment period now. Just keep in mind that you can always direct your comments to either myself as chair or Clerk Dean, and we'll make sure that those are addressed as we receive those. And with that, we move on to minutes and the approval of minutes dated January 21st, 2025. Council members, are there any additions, corrections to this week's minutes from last meeting? Hearing none, we approve the January 21st, 2025 minutes as presented. And with that, we move on to the discussion period. And this is the Comprehensive Emergency Management Plan update for 2024. Chief Bailey. Good evening, sir.
So I just wanted to give you an update on where we were. I know I gave it to you to read a month or so ago, I think back before the holidays. The original intention was to take it to council, potentially this next week. Excuse me. About that. We just want to give an opportunity to have the other department heads take a look at it before we did that. So I left this on the agenda just to see if there's any major questions or anything that we wanted to address before at your suggestion, and we take it to the full council. Just to let you again know, although it was approved by the state, they go through and they look at it and make sure all the legal and all the requirements are met for the state. It doesn't mean that we can't change it. It's a living document. It's meant to be revised every year. So there are, what I told the department heads too is, little changes, it's until we practice it, until we put it into practice, which we're going to do later this year with some exercises, we'll probably find some little tweaks here and there that we need to change. So, although this is approved, it doesn't mean that we can't change it from what the state approved. They just basically went through and said, yeah, yes, it meets all the legal and the state requirements for a plan and for us to be able to use to submit for some of the grants that we're required to have it for. So
excellent. Council members, questions, comments?
To be honest, didn't see anything glaring that I thought was out of place or anything like that. I thought it was very thorough and it was my holiday reading.
I'm sorry. Yeah, as I said, this really the meat of it will be once we get a chance, because we do have some, a lot of new faces in the city over the last couple of years. Is I anticipate we're going to want to make some, changes through it, some of the operational changes as the department heads and the rest of the city, the rest of the staff here, go through it and figure out roles and make sure that we have it tuned up. But as I said, it's a document that's meant to be revised once a year. It's just every 5 years it has to be sent to the state to get their overall approval, make sure we're on the right track and we're hitting all the bullet points that we need to.
That's great. They approved it. So.
Okay.
Yeah, and I believe the version that you had doesn't have the letter in it, but the one that's going to go to the one that would presumably go to council in the very front of it, there's a spot for the mayor to sign it. And then there's also a spot that includes the letter from the state that says that they approved it. And then as part of that approval, they also gave me a list of recommendations of things that weren't necessarily required, but things that they wanted us to look at in the next 5 years and consider adding to the plan. So they, they gave us kind of a roadmap of what they'd like to see change or things that we should pay attention to the next 5 years.
Excellent. Recommendations from the council members on whether this should be on consent agenda or should be a presentation under public safety.
It's a pretty comprehensive document. I don't know if, sometimes the council meetings are busy enough with, maybe I'll punt that one back to Chief as far as if he wants to do a presentation or not.
Let me scope it this way. Could you bring forward 3 big ideas that you want to relay to the rest of the council?
Okay.
Three things that I think are pertinent as far as long-range planning goes, as far as, familiarity of where we're at and maybe resources that we need to consider going forward. I think it's, glossing over, I mean, if this were a contract with another fire department, I think I'd have a different take on it. But I think that this is something that all the council members need to understand, the breadth and the value that our fire department brings.
And as I said, it's not going to go to the council till the end of February. That's
Okay.
how we put on the planning schedule. So what I can do is the next public safety meeting, it was set on the agenda to, officially be moved to the next meeting, is I can come to the meeting with kind of those ideas, and then that way,
We-
can kind of see if that met what you thought, or if there's anything that maybe we might want to add that you think that the rest of the council might want to hear. Maybe that's the opportunity. I can give
Right.
you kind of what I think that we could share at the council meeting, and then it could be the decision as to whether we want to carry anything forward to the full meeting, the end of December or the end of February.
Okay, that sounds like a good work plan.
And it also gives me, I put it out to the directors. If they had any major changes, would incorporate those. And obviously I could tell you about those at the next public safety meeting if there's any major changes. I haven't received any. I don't necessarily anticipate any. But if there are any major updates or changes to it, I can bring those up, or it would be part of the copy that's sent out again for the next meeting.
Administrator Chambliss, does that seem a reasonable approach?
Yep. The focus this year is training and preparedness, and Chief Bailey has a plan laid out for the whole year on getting us up to speed through a series of tabletop exercises and rehearsal drills. So
Excellent.
I'm very pleased with the direction we're going under his care and tutelage.
Okay,
And that would have been one of my key points as to where we're going with this, how we're going
Right.
to use it in the next year. Because again, there's a lot of new faces at the city, and we've been haven't been in there for a while, so we want to make sure that everybody is tuned up. If we had something tomorrow, I'm very confident we'd be able to handle it. It's just
Right.
tweaking it, making it better, and just like anything, if you don't practice it, it's good to be able to do that. So that was going to be one of the things that we probably would talk about, just to let everybody know what they can expect to see over the course of the year. And obviously, if we're setting that stuff up, some of that, when we do a full EOC exercises, some of that is also having some of the policies. So we might even have an opportunity for, those that are willing to, want to come and watch, and, we'll be able to use the whole group will be able to be, of the city staff, the rest of us will be able to come in, and we will be able to exercise the whole plan.
Excellent, excellent. I think, in my final comments are this, is when we bring these things forward through the council, it not only helps familiarize the rest of the council of what's happening in the fire department, but also citizens, because it's an opportunity for them to have purview of, why do we have an independent fire agency? And there's a lot of benefits to it. So we need to make sure that we lift that up and make sure that they see that. On a final note, I am going to visit the fire department on Saturday, so it's on my schedule. I'm gonna spend 6, 8 hours with the fire department.
Until you're sick with us. Still
Well,
good.
until you're sick of me, but I think it's really important for each of us to set aside time in both departments, do ride along, see what's going on, because it helps us make better decisions and we have a better idea of what the needs are. All right.
Lieutenant West will be on that day, and he'll have his crew there, and they've already been told that you're going to be there, and he's excited. I mean, Matt's been here, Lieutenant West has been here, as long as I have, so it'll be a real good chance to get to talk to the crews and see what they have. And he's the department historian basically, so he's going to be full of all kinds of facts for you about the department and the city.
I'm looking forward to it. All right. Well, thank you much, Chief.
Thank you.
Council members Christensen, Cotton, is there anything else that needs to come up for the good of the order today or future agenda items?
Oh, I have an update from Snoqualmie Valley School District regarding the opioid meeting. I got a nice response back from the superintendent, Schlatzfeld.
Mm-hmm.
And so anyway, the discussion we had was about, of course, the Mount Si High School is getting the opioid training with their CPR, AED, and Stop the Bleed training. So, and the seniors need to have that before they graduate, which is really great. The legislature, Bill 1956, says that by December 1st of 2025, not only the high school, but the middle schools also need to receive the training.
Good.
So, but one of the other items we talked about was the students being able to carry naloxone, and there's a bit of a conflict because the school district doesn't like students that carry medications in their backpack, like nothing.
Mhm.
Like you can't carry an EpiPen or that. It has to, life-saving medications need to be checked in at the nurse's station. Which kind of defeats the purpose of not having it on you.
Yeah.
So, but they did say that students can get a carry on their person order from a healthcare professional for that. But I'm trying to get the information back is, so do they have to check that in with the nurse like the other medications, or is it something that they can actually carry on their back? Type of thing. So we're having open dialogues and, so it's a interesting thing. So we're doing everything that, like all the training that everybody's gotten in the city, except that we can't hand out the naloxone with the class, so
Okay.
to the students. So anyway,
Okay.
working on it.
All right. Thank you.
Mhm.
Anything else?
No.
All right. That, if there's nothing more to come before us, we are working on the e-bike situation, so more about that forthcoming. But the plan is to get, if we're going to do something, we need to do it before summer. So that's kind of the timeline on that. So more on that. With that, if there's no objection, we will adjourn at 5:15 p.m. We stand adjourned. Thank you very much.